Back in the 90s, there were a few different super saloons for sale. You had the E34 M5, the 500E, the XJR, and there was definitely a market Vauxhall wanted a piece of. Now Vauxhall knew their way around a saloon, but back then they didn't have a performance department, so they enlisted the help of Lotus. Yes, the company behind the Elise and the Esprit Turbo. So what happened is Vauxhall came to Lotus with their Carlton, which was a relatively big executive saloon, a car with a whole bunch of space, a big boot, and all the fancy tech you wanted back in the 90s. So a sensible, reliable car for the family or a businessman. And they asked them, can you make this faster than the German competition? And Lotus said, hold my beer. Now Lotus took this boring, sensible sedan and made it into something truly special. The stock car was powered by a 3-liter straight 6. Lotus took one look at that engine and decided something had to change. So they bored the engine to 3.6 liters. But that's not where they stopped. They also added 2 Garrett turbos to the car. Now this meant that the Carlton went from a 175 horsepower sedan to a 377 horsepower super sedan. Lotus more than doubled the power, but the power doesn't write the whole story. This thing produced a whole lot of torque, 570 Newton meters to be exact. Now this car was so fast that it held the record for being the fastest 4-door on the planet for a while, and it could reach 60 in just 5.2 seconds, which was crazy back in the 90s. Now Lotus is very famous for how great their cars handled, so it wouldn't help for them to plaster their name on something when it's just fast in a straight line. So they had to tamper a bit with the handling as well. For handling, Lotus took the multi-link suspension of the Omega, which was already praised by automotive press, and they modified it for better high-speed stability and improved the handling dynamics. They also fitted the self-leveling suspension from the Opel Senator. Then they borrowed the Surftronic power steering system from the same car, which also provides full power assistance at parking speeds and reduces the assistance as road speeds increases. And then to make sure the car had some stopping power, they fitted 4 piston brakes up front and 2 piston calipers in the rear. Now as I'm guessing you can see, this thing was proper fast back in its day. Now because it was so fast, bad guys used them. Yes, this car was used by criminals as a getaway vehicle. On the 26th of November 1993, a Vauxhall Lotus Carlton with the number plate 40RA was stolen from a home in the West Midlands. The gang of thieves went around ram-raiding shops all over the West Midlands for cigarettes and alcohol. The police were powerless to stop them since they had no chance of keeping up with the car. West Midlands Police Captain David Oliver said, "We simply haven't been able to get near the thing, and it looks unlikely that we ever will." The police essentially admitted defeat. So the criminals stole the car. They noticed that it's stupidly fast, and then they somehow went and robbed a bunch of shops, since nobody would be able to stop them. So what do you do if you are a government and your whole police force can't stop one car? Well, you try and ban the car. Yes, the British government started a campaign to ban the Carlton, and their reasoning was that the car was unsafe and that it is unreasonable for anyone to need to own a saloon that can go 177 miles per hour. Luckily, their campaign failed. Now for me at least, this is the coolest Vauxhall ever made. I mean, it's a 4-door gangster mobile with a twin-turbo straight 6 up front and 2 massive exhaust pipes at the rear. Exactly my type of car. Now, what do you think of this car? Do you think it's as cool as I do, or do you just think it's like a big Astra with a massive engine and like a boring car? I think it's cool. I think it looks cool. I think it's like a sleeper. So if you look at this thing on the road, you'll just think, oh, it's a big Opel with a wing, and it sounds a bit different. You wouldn't expect this thing to do 177 miles per hour, would you? Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I've got many more videos sort of like this one, so if you enjoy it, go through my channel. I'm sure there's something you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers. Cheers.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for.